Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on Bluebeam Revu 2018. Before we get started, I'm going to give a very brief description on Microdesk and what we do as an AECO consulting firm. So, just a little bit about Microdesk. Microdesk is a consulting firm with a strong technical and sales teams delivering services to companies in the AECO industry. We were established back in 1994, and now we have 13 locations in the US and the UK. And our consulting team, it includes over 160 consultants and developers specializing in various software and business processes. Just a little bit more on the consulting service side. We specialize in implementation of BIM workflows, helping firms develop strategies and workflows at an enterprise level, and we provide technical support and on-site mentoring as well as application development. And then just a little bit about myself today. I'm your host today. My name is Angela, and I have been with Microdesk for about 4 years now, and I specialize in BIM workflows. I have a background in architecture, and I have been helping firms develop their best practices, especially with BIM projects. I spend a good amount of my day in Bluebeam, Revu, and many other design software. Here's a brief agenda of what we're going to talk about today. Today's webinar is going to be very encompassing, and we're going to address some of the biggest new updates in Bluebeam 2018. And this includes the user interface update, the profiles, the batch functionality, the studio update, and the markup summary update. And one of my favorite is the snapshot content update. And also, I think this is one of many other people's on top of their wish list is the customizable shortcuts. And also, I'm going to talk a little bit about the view mode, which is an open seat Bluebeam version that if you are in a company and if you have an open license, and this will not take up a seat when there is limited amount of seats. So I'm going to actually go ahead before I jump into the presentation. I have a couple questions for the audience, and I'm going to open up the polls and the questions here. Just give me a second right here. I'm going to start the poll. So here's my first question for you guys. My first question is, have you guys ever used Bluebeam Revu before? And I'll leave this question on for 10 seconds. Great, I'm seeing really good numbers. I'm seeing 90% of the audience have used Bluebeam Revu before, and that's a really good number. I'm going to go ahead and jump to the next question. So the next question is, have you upgraded your Bluebeam Revu to 2019? Okay, I'm getting really great numbers here as well. I have about 65% as no and 35% as yes. That means a good amount of people have already, well actually, sorry, it's in reverse. It's 35% yes and 65% no. So only 35% of people in the audience today have upgraded. So I'm going to close that poll here. So I'm going to jump into the actual presentation right now. Right here, what you see is what Bluebeam Revu 2018 looks like. It looks very different from, in a first glance, it looks very different from what we were used to in 17 because it's a lot more streamlined. As you can tell right away, the icons are now a little more simplified. so the workspace feels less cluttered, I'm just going to bring up quickly a version of 17 so that we can do a quick comparison. So on the right here is 17, and you can see that the icons are colorful, they're slightly bigger, and the side panels take up a little more space. So in 18 comparison on the left, it's just a lot more streamlined. You have more real estate on the computer screen to work effectively. So let me close up the 17 version and open up 18. I want everyone to kind of pay attention to the top first, where my mouse is hovering over. As you can tell right now, nothing is active and everything is grayed out. It's because I don't have a PDF open. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a PDF, and you can see what happens to these icons. I'm going to open recent and open up one of the PDFs I've been working on. So let's do L2 RCP. And right away, you can see all these icons kind of get enabled. That means all of these icons are actually able to be used right now. And I want everyone to sort of pay attention to where my mouse is hovering over right here. This is something new in Bluebeam Revu 2018. On the Properties menu, you can see the name of the PDF, and if you click over the drop-down, you can see the document properties now. One thing I really like about this version is that you're able to actually insert a blank page really quick by clicking on this icon right here. So let's do that. And immediately you get a second page. In comparison to 17, you will have to do the thumbnails, insert a blank page, and that's a couple clicks. So I believe the intent of this big update from Bluebeam Revu 2018 is to be able to allow user to reach all the functionalities a little faster with fewer clicks. And I think they did a really great job over here. All the functions now are streamlined. As you can see, all the tools are lined up vertically on the side, on the left, and as well as on the right. So I want everyone to sort of pay attention to the left side panel a little bit. So we have these, as indicated by the questions by the poll before, a lot of you guys have used Bluebeam before. So I'm sure a lot of these icons are actually really familiar to you, even though it may take a while for you to recognize them because now they have lost their color. But these are the same tools with very similar functions. This side panel on the left, now you can actually, like before, you can customize a hierarchy. Like let's say I don't really use Studio and I kind of want to clean up my workspace a little bit. You can actually right click on it and just click hide, and that will be gone from your workspace. I'm actually gonna go ahead and grab it back. So now this is back to the default. So another cool thing with 18 is actually that if you're hovering your mouse on the left side of the side panel, like so, you get a choice of to auto hide the panel access. That means when you're hovering over, the access will come back up, but when you're not, it's going to be hidden. So let's try that. So this just allows you to create more workspace right here. I'm actually going to not select that function and let it sit there as my default workspace. So let's move on to the right side over here. We have all the markup tools lined up vertically, very concise. And now you can actually view all the markup tools that you're able to use at once. So let's zoom into the PDF a little bit here. Sorry, I dragged that a little bit. So what you can see here is some of the previous markups left over on the PDF. If I click on it, the properties bar on the top dynamically changes and allows you to adjust some of the formatting of that markup. My computer, I'm working from a laptop right now, so I have to sort of play around with the arrows to the left and the right to kind of see everything I can do with this markup. But I'm sure when you guys are working on a computer screen, this will be showing completely instead of hovering over, which is sort of like, limited workspace right here. So let's just try to add another cloud. It's no different from before, actually. So let's just try that a little, try that first. Maybe we'll do a similar note. We'll drag and drop. We'll do, again, review ceiling height. I always like to mention to the audience that everyone uses different colors. Obviously, you can set up your profile, set up your tool chest so that everyone's using the same colors and same formatting. But in case you're just, you're just trying to format the same way, like so in this PDF, you can always do copy format. And some people, I like to mention that because some people don't know that. And the shortcut for that is Control-Shift-C. So I'm just doing Control-Shift-C on the one that I would like to copy from, and now I can easily copy onto this one. So I would like to all the comments with review ceiling height to be purple. So that's pretty much it with the markup tool. I know since everything is lined up right in front of the user, everyone is now able to explore all the functions a little more easily, and I think Bluebeam did a really great job with that. Next thing I'm going to go ahead and talk about is the top portion of the window here, where my mouse is currently hovering over. We have Review, File, Edit, View, Document, Batch, Tools, Window, and Help. This is pretty similar to what we had in 17, except for Review and Batch. Under Review, now we have all the preferences about and all the general things that used to be located on the right-hand side over here. So all of that has switched over to Review drop down here. One cool thing about this is the profiles is now under Review, and I think that's a little easier to manage. Like before, you can manage your profiles, and if you have a profile that you would love to share with your coworkers, you can definitely export that and then input that onto the other computer, as well as even the whole entire organization. And this definitely helps PDF, the markup, when you guys are doing RFIs, submittals, so that everyone's using the same formatting, the same stamp, and same everything, and even the same layout. So that's one cool thing about this. Right under profiles, you guys see that there is a keyboard shortcuts. And this must be one of people's most favorite command improvement in Bluebeam Revu 2018. Back in 17, you're unable to create and customize your shortcut. Now you're able to do so. This allows people to work in different software more easily. And just like the profiles, you can import and export and share with the whole organization. You can deploy your settings and all of that. So let's just try to change one right now. So maybe call out, you don't want to say Q. Maybe you want to say C, which we see right here is for the cloud as well. So let me just go ahead and try and see what it does. So C. So it gives you a warning saying C is currently assigned to cloud. What happens when you click reassign is that it definitely takes away the C from the other one. So you sort of have to be careful. Obviously, there are only so many letters. You have to pick and choose which one is your most used keyboard shortcuts, so that you don't overlap. You don't have the same shortcut for different commands. They also have divided up tools and commands, and I think that's really nice. And I also personally just like to come to the keyboard shortcut window to sort of see what kind of tools are available. So this, at a glance, I can see what kind of opportunities I can have with Bluebeam Revu and find some of the functions that I didn't even think of. So again, I think having this window right here is a really great one. Going back to the top, file, edit, view, document are pretty much the same. One thing I like to highlight is the batch drop down here. So Bluebeam Revu has also managed to organize all their batch functionalities into this drop down, which I think is really great. So it definitely helps project teams to cut down their time to work more effectively, just performing one time but multiple documents. One of the few of my own favorite commands is comparison tool. Let's say you want to compare drawing from the last issuance with this issuance. This is a really great tool, especially if you can now, even before you can do it in batch, but here it's sort of all managed nicely and together under the batch dropdown. Since we're talking about user interface a little bit, and I know there's a lot of interest in Bluebeam Studio, I know a lot of people in the industry rely on Studio for collaboration and things like that. I want to just kind of address that a little bit. There's a little bit of update, and I think that it's a really good one. So let's open it up right now. So as you can see right away, under Studio, I'm clicking this little button right here. It's asking me to sign in. And you can also tell that I'm not signed in by having the red dot over here. So I'm going to sign in right now. It brings you to this separate window, which is not the same as how it was in 17. So I'm going to sign in right now. Once I'm signed in, it actually shows all the projects that I have on Studio. So I have City Hall renovation, Bluebeam demo, and I have another project called 1776. What's nice about this change is that once I click on one, it will bring out this new user interface in my workspace, and that's fairly easy to use. That's really easy to use. And at the same time, I can also bring up another project onto the other screen. I'm just going to close this first, my first PDF. And you can see now that all the folders are actually in a thumbnail view. You can also do a list view, a detail view, but you get the choice now, as whereas before you don't get this sort of folder view as you would be familiar with. And you can also right click here. You can expand and collapse your folder structure. So I think that's really nice. One additional good thing about this is you can actually drag and drop from a folder. So let me show you guys that right now. Let's say I want to do this project manual. Let me close one of the projects first. So let's say I want to bring this manual into details. It will actually show you that it was uploading, and the upload status here, it says it's uploaded one file to Bluebeam demo. So let's see if it's really there. So yeah, so it's under the main folder, but again, you can drag and drop from the folder structure, from the folder, the file explorer from Windows. So overall, this is a really big upgrade. You can also, from here, Studio, obviously you can go into sessions. I don't have any sessions right now, but it works very similarly as before. But I also want to just explain on the formatting a little bit that you don't have to worry about a PDF perhaps was saved in a 17 version of Bluebeam and unable to bring in Bluebeam. Everything is able to be opened in Bluebeam in all versions, as well as other PDF viewers outside, and as well as sessions. Like if I am hosting the session and I'm running the session in 17 version, and if one of my attendees is using 18 version, they are totally able to use the same functions as well. There is no limit to maybe someone updated, someone upgraded, and they can join. So the collaboration is still very effective as before. So the next item I would like to talk about is the markup summary in 2018 version. Not many changes have been implemented with the markup list, but the way we can merge a lot of the comments and markups from other PDFs have definitely upgraded. So I'm here to show you that. At the moment, right now, you can see on this PDF, we have several comments and several markups, and those are summarized here down at the bottom, markup list. The way to get to this list, there are several ways now. One is definitely you can pay attention to the bottom left-hand corner here. This is a new item. This is a new button. Once you click on it, it will expand this list. This was not here before in 2017. Another way to get to the markup list is by double-clicking on your mouse, and this will automatically expand. So the reason why I said there hasn't been much change to the markup list is because, as you can see, this is pretty similar to what it was showing in 2017, except that it's cleaned up a little bit. A lot of the items that you see here are no longer, that you used to see in 17 are no longer here. All of them are grouped together and stored under markup list drop down here. So you can go to columns, markups, capture, and those are all under this drop down. One thing I would like to always mention is this hide markups feature. When you have a lot of pages, when you have a lot of markups on a PDF, you tend to want to just kind of see where the drawing what the drawing looked like before. And this is a quick way to one click away, and you can see, you can clear all the markup in an instant. And just one more click away, you can bring all those back. So I always like to mention that. So now let's go to the markup summary. So again, we're going to go to the batch at the top. So batch, and we're going to do summary at the end here. There are a lot of new features here. There are more customization opportunity here. As you can see, you could add several files, and it's going to bring all the markups from those files as well. You can even customize your pages. So let's just try to add one file here. So Bluebeam Revu webinar. And let's do the reflective ceiling plan. And once you brought that in, you may want to look at all the options provided down here. We can start with the columns. You can even filter out which columns you don't want to do. So you can do all the management stuff right here in Bluebeam instead of bringing it into Excel and then cleaning it up in Excel and then sending it out. So you can do all of that here. So that's just get rid of, let's say I don't need the length. I don't need the wall area. Maybe I don't need capture, so let's just get rid of those. Maybe I don't need lock. And going to the next one, filter and sort. You can do all sorts of filter and sorting here. Just very similar to data management in Excel and stuff like that. Next one is output. This is where things could get a little more exciting. You're exporting to, right now I'm exporting to users and my desktop. I'm exporting as the CSV file. And I want everyone to sort of pay attention to the title here, markup summary, and you can definitely customize the subject and date by clicking these two. Basically, it's giving an automatic title in case you want to break up the summary into several of them. So once I click on this, create multiple reports per subject, meaning maybe I want a report just for the architect, and the next one maybe I just want a report on the engineer, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to click on both, and we're going to do OK in a minute here. But I would also like to mention that after going through all these options, you can definitely save configuration and even load in configuration from other team members on your team or other people in your organization. So very similar to other features. You can import, export all the settings very easily. So let's go ahead and do OK. So let's go back to our desktop, and that's where I save my files. So I'm going to minimize Bluebeam, and as you can see, I have all these markup ready, all these CSV files that I have merged. And basically, as you can see, the name, there's markup summary dimension, because that was the subject for a series of markups. And next one is markup summary snapshot. And there has markup summary cloud, and there's markup summary architect. So there you can create many different groupings by managing all your markups first before exporting. And that will be coming to here. Once you click on a markup, you can go to this little drop down over here. You can enter engineer or anything you would like. Maybe you guys are not breaking up by discipline. Maybe you guys are breaking up by northeast, southeast, northwest, southwest, west. So that's always a great way to sort of note the differences in your markups. Speaking of markups, I also like to mention one of the features in Bluebeam that I've always really loved, and that's called snapshot. The shortcut for snapshot is called G, and in the 2018 version, they have definitely upgraded this tool, and I'll show you the differences. So snapshot is used when you're literally trying to take an image of a desired area on the PDF. So I'm pressing on G on my keyboard here, just going with the desired region here, and I'm going to paste it. And as you can see, it comes with a snapshot of exactly what it was. The backgrounds, the markups, all the colors and such. So this is usually what we would get in 2017. In 18, they've added a new feature where you can do snapshot content. So the keyboard shortcut for that will be Shift plus G. So let's try that out right now. So Shift plus G. Same region. Again, I'm going to paste it. And as you can see, in this version, it only has the background and not the markups. So this is a huge time saver for those who deal with markups and always referencing to other areas in the drawings and such. And I'm a firm believer this is a tool that everyone's going to love. One of the final items I'm going to discuss is actually at the top again under review drop down, we'll go to view mode right here. So view mode is great if you're someone who only view the PDF and just treating Bluebeam as a viewer. So this will be a free option because you won't take up a seat in your company's license. And this is a great way to just recommend to people who are not marking things up and just simply viewing. So let's try that out. Once you get into view mode, you see this review is now in view mode. You may continue to view PDFs and participate in studio sessions. If you ever need to go back to marking things up, you can always, again, go to review and markup mode. So that's something everyone can take advantage of in the office if you're simply just viewing a PDF. The next topic, one of the final topics I'm going to address here is the iPad actually. The iPad, some people may be wondering if there's an upgrade on the iPad version. So the app on the iPad did not get updated with this release. And so the app that you will be seeing will maintain the same. And now I'm going to bring you guys to one of the great things that Bluebeam did for new users. If you're one of the 10% in the audience here today, under Help, there's launch review tutorials, and I think this series of tutorials is actually really great for those who are interested in learning but doesn't know where to get started. This series includes a lot of processes, workflows such as quantity takeoff, estimates, and things like that, and it really helps a new user to learn how to explore Bluebeam. So let's click on that. As you can see, you have markup tools, quantity takeoff, collaboration, document management, drawing management, field issues, and if you go on next, it actually bring you to that exercise and actually change the profile for you accordingly. So I think this is a great way for anyone who would like to learn. Some of you may also be wondering where did some of your features and some of your functions that you're so used to in 2017 go? So Bluebeam actually came up with this page kind of just addressing where some of the features went. On this page, as you can go to www.bluebeam.com, where did it go? You can see some of the live animation on some of the most common features that you may be interested in knowing. So this is also a great way to kind of just glance over and see what you can possibly do with Bluebeam. Stamp Studio, toolbar enable, disable, things like that. So this is a great page to visit if you have just upgraded and would like to learn more about the differences between 17 and 18. We thank you for your time listening, tuning in to this webinar. We look forward to seeing you again next time on future webinars. Thank you.